Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Brooke Cormier. I'm a full-time artist, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite things in my art studio. This video is not sponsored, so all of the things that I'm going to be discussing today are just genuinely things that I use that either make my studio practice A, easier, or B, more enjoyable. And I hope that you find some value in what I will be exhibiting today. I know it's been a minute since my last video, but I have been very busy chopping off all my hair, for one, and also painting. I've been vigorously painting for 2.5 months, finishing a series I've been working on, which I'm very excited to share with you all, but that's for another video, so let's just jump right into this thing.
Okay.
Let's start off with palette. Every painter needs a palette, right? The palette that I use, I actually have two. They're both Masterson brand. My favorite one is the Masterson Sta Wet palette. It always confuses me because I think it's Stay Wet, but it's Sta Wet. I love this palette. It is really, really great for keeping your paints from drying out. It basically is like a Tupperware lid where you just peel it off and
voila!
You have your paints inside. When I'm oil painting, I use a piece of glass to mix my palette on just because I find it to be a lot easier to clean afterwards. It has duct tape on it because it broke when I was traveling from Vienna to Toronto. Nothing a bit of duct tape can't fix, you know what I'm saying? I also have this one. I dropped it and ruined the corners. All of these palettes come with special palette paper and a sponge. And basically you just soak these bad boys and wring out the sponge a little bit, put this on top. You can put your acrylic paints on there, mix it up, and they'll keep them wet for a long time, which really comes in handy. Okay, on to the next thing. Along with my palette, I have
this bad boy.
And it is what I call a palette scraper. And basically what it does is you scrape the paint off your palette with it, and it's like a flat razor blade, and it's been such a game changer for me. I only got it like 2 years ago, and honestly, I don't know what I was doing before I had this. I think I ruined a lot of palette knives just like scraping the paint. And let me tell you, it is so satisfying using this. It's like one of my favorite parts of the painting process is just scraping dried paint off of my palette. While we're talking about materials and stuff, I'll just briefly go over the paints that I use. When I'm oil painting, I use Winsor & Newton water mixable oil color. Say what you will, maybe there's people out there who are like,
oh, I'm a very traditional artist and water mixable oils are pew pew.
But honestly, like, I have a small studio and I can't be using turpentines and mineral spirits. I will die. The ventilation in here is not very good. That's why I love water mixable oils, is that you don't need all of that stuff to clean your brushes, and it's easy. You can just use soap and water to wash this off, and honestly, I don't know if you can tell if my paintings are water mixable. Like, is there that big of a difference? I don't know. I would like to try more traditional oil paints one day, but gotta get a bigger studio first. And when I'm painting with acrylics, my favorite brand so far has been Golden Acrylics. And I use the heavy body acrylics because she's thick. Okay. And honestly, I don't paint in acrylics all that often anymore, but when I do, I like to use that brand, so.
There you have it.
Moving on to what I use to clean my brushes, and that is the Masters Brush Cleaner and Preserver. Honestly, I swear by this. As I said, I use water mixable oils and acrylics, and this just does the trick, you know, every time. I don't know what is in this. You know what? I don't need to know the sorcery that goes on in this thing, but even when I have a stain on something that I can't get out, I'll just rub a little bit of this in it and voila, magic. When it comes to actual paint brushes, I get asked that question a lot. What kind of paint brushes do I use? And let me tell you, I have a million different kinds of brushes. lots of different brands. I use synthetic, I use natural bristles. I have it all, so I can't really tell you what ones that I use, but I will say that I always have an angled flat on hand. That's my favorite type of brush. I use it the most. Let's see. Here's one, here's another. And these are from Above Ground Art Supplies, which is a Toronto art store, which I frequent.
Next.
When I'm oil painting, I thin out my paint with linseed oil. And so here's a bottle of linseed oil for the sake of showing you. But I bought this in Vienna, so it's all in German. It's Schminke brand, if that means anything to you. But honestly, you can buy linseed oil at a hardware store, and I just buy my linseed oil at Home Hardware and then fill up this bottle because it's small and I can transport it places. But yeah, it's great. I have nothing more to say about that. Oh man, I'm excited to show you this next one. I wonder if we can do a little bit of a demo.
I love using this tool so much that it's gonna be hard to find a paint tube to use it on because I just get so excited when I have the opportunity to use it.
So this next tool is called
The Tube Ringer.
This video is not sponsored, but I actually reached out to the people who make these tube bringers and I said,
Please send me one.
and I'll share it with my audience. And that was a few years ago, so I am in no means obligated to keep sharing it, but I love this. Basically, the function of this thing is to make the most out of your paint tubes. So when things are really running low, you just stick it in there and you just crank it, and look at that. Paint's expensive, you guys. I know you know that already. You want to get the most out of it. So that's why I love this thing. Also, it's so fun to use. And I use this for my toothpaste, tomato paste, even hand cream, literally anything that comes in a tube. You better believe I'm using this thing on it. I'm a frugal gal, okay? We gotta save money where we can. What do we have next? What do we have next? One of the things that I seriously can't live without in my studio is
Tea.
If you have seen any of my past videos, you probably already know I'm a pretty big tea drinker, okay? Actually, that's an understatement. I think I drink at least 2 liters of tea a day. I'm just sipping as I paint, and it's so relaxing. I'm staying hydrated. I am feeling fancy. That's why I reached out to my very favorite tea brand, Sloan Fine Tea Merchants. Is that what they're called? Fact checking. Oh man, it's so good, yeah. So I reached out to Sloan Fine Tea Merchants and I asked them, listen, I drink so much of your tea. Would you please send me some? And they were so kind to send me all of my favorite flavors. Okay, I need to go get them for you.
A few moments later.
Oh my god. Look at all this tea. First of all, they come in the cutest little tins. They look so fancy, so classy. Also, Sloan is a Toronto-based company and it's female owned. This is my favorite. This is my favorite one. It's called Heavenly Cream. It is so good. I don't think I've ever had a black tea that I've loved as much as this one. I don't know, those are heavy words, but honestly, I stand by it, okay? I throw myself a lot of tea parties. If I'm feeling stressed, I throw myself a tea party. If I'm feeling sad, I throw myself a tea party. I have a lot of tea parties, and listen, a fine artist needs fine tea. Not sponsored. On to the next. I have written here plants. I don't know if that's really like I guess I wrote it because I like having a lot of plants in my studio. I think that the greenery, the extra oxygen, it's good for you. So if you are starting your own little art studio, throw a plant in there. You won't regret it. And last but not least, I will quickly discuss Light. Light is something that I need in my studio when I'm painting. Wow, revolutionary. I have one window in my studio, as you can see, and it faces a brick wall. So I don't get a lot of natural light in here. I need an alternative light source when I'm painting. So that is where my lamp comes in. I got this lamp from IKEA. It's attached to my desk and it moves around, and I basically just angle it at a 45-degree angle
Boom!
right at my painting, and that's what I use if I'm painting after dark / in the Canadian winter. And the light bulb is a bright white daylight bulb, 5,000 Kelvin. I did some research and apparently that's what you should get when you're painting because it's the most natural light you can get or something like that. Oop, different angle. Okay, you've made it to the end of the video. That's it. There's nothing else that I'm gonna review today, but I thank you for sticking around and I hope that you found something that interested you and maybe will help you in your own studio practice. And I will link everything in the description below for your reference. And if there's something that you can't live without in your own studio practice, I would love to hear about it because we're all learning here. We're all living and we're learning. And yeah. Okay, I'm Brooke Cormier and I'll see you next time. See you next time. And please subscribe. I forgot to say that. Please subscribe, please. Your support means a lot. Okay. Okay.